What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Let's Do a Podcast, Christmas edition.
Jingle jangle.
Ho, ho, ho. Anyways, everybody, adios. It's whatever. We're just winging it today because we're together. That's what matters. We're together for the holidays. Give on something sweet. Yes, classic. Anyways, I hope that everybody's having a great holiday, or at least getting ready for it. If you're watching us live, it's Christmas Eve. If you're listening to us, it's probably Christmas Day. I might try to put this out.
Maybe you save it till Christmas 2024.
Yeah. So whatever time it is, I hope you're having a great time.
Hello, people in the present or the future. If you're listening to this in the past, tell me, please.
Fill us in your evil ways.
Yes.
But before we get too further talking into all the things, let's drink this interesting beer.
Yeah, today we have the same beer.
Yes.
The power of co-location.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's strange recording together now too. We got together. I was like, man, I should have I could have brought a microphone. Like just things where I'm like, but.
This is why we have mono. We're in mono today, not in stereo.
Yeah,
so singular mic, but we're making it work. So.
Yeah, it's all about having fun, and we're definitely gonna have fun if we finish these beers that we have.
So we talked about this a few episodes ago, but I went and actually did it. I got Kegnog from over at Martin House. I'll hand that over to you there. So the Kegnog, as we discussed before, it's Martin House's keg or eggnog flavored beer. And I thought there would be like a crowd for these. It wasn't a crowd. It was going to be this or the lobster pie beer that they had. We mentioned that a couple of weeks ago as well, which was not just like lobster flavored, but also chocolate and lobster. Or they had the cheddar bay biscuit flavored.
I kind of wanted to try that.
That would have been a very that experience would have been very your way here since we don't need it anymore. That would have been very, I feel like, reminiscent of the Thanksgiving beer, but I didn't have the bravery to go through that, so we don't have that. But we do have eggnog flavored beer. So yours, go ahead and pour it out there.
I'm surprised. I expected it to be white. I don't know. I guess because
it does have it's lactose infused, so it is an imperial ale. It's labeled as other on the Untapped app, but it's imperial ale, 15% alcohol by volume. So does it smell boozy?
The smell,
is this gonna be Thanksgiving-esque?
It smells gross. I'm just gonna say it smells gross.
Oh no! All right, guys, you're in for a treat.
Oh. I was trying not to make a sound or anything, but I couldn't hold it.
You're scaring me. You're scaring me.
Okay, so right off the bat, it's not bad. We will be able to drink this tonight.
It doesn't smell that bad.
It smells kind of bad.
It's like if you poured beer in your eggnog, which arguably may not be that good.
First sip. Strange, right?
Yeah. Like pink bubble gum.
It does. It's a
weirdly sweet flavor.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
So
the flavor profile on Untapped for this is buttery, caramel, lactose, and vanilla. I think the sweet flavors I'm getting are the nutmeg and vanilla.
Yeah,
because it's definitely got like a spiced profile to it. Because I mean, when you get eggnog, if you're going to get eggnog, typically you get the eggnog, a little bit of like cinnamon or nutmeg on top. Your Christmas spices.
Yeah.
I think they tried to get that in there. They probably threw some nutmeg into the mix there when they were brewing it. The butteriness is there. It's accurate. It's not the Thanksgiving beer, but
thank God.
It's unique. It's maybe a little bit. It's just maybe slightly funky.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Sorry, good.
Knocking elbows. Luckily it is drinkable, so I probably will drink this.
It's confusing.
It's strange. A lot of flavors. I think it's the heavy sweetness that really does throw it for me. But again, like there's so much happening in here, it's almost impossible. Like I didn't think about it being sweet before we had it, but it makes sense.
Needs bourbon.
Yeah, it needs something to cut out that sweetness. Honestly,
it's like I can't drink eggnog by itself. The thing used to, somebody was telling me, asked me if I liked eggnog, and it's like my parents drink eggnog a lot when I was growing up. But I was like, by itself, it's just like buttermilk, it's thick, it's like, but once you add bourbon to it, tremendously better. It cuts it a little bit, thins it out a little bit, adds a whole new profile to the flavor. So much better. I feel like this is almost like the eggnog prior to having the addition of bourbon to it.
Yeah.
Except it's like, super sweet and vanilla-y.
It's not thick. It's just the flavors of it that it's strange.
Yeah, and it's also like it's an ale too. So it's gonna have some of that the flavor, rest in the back of your tongue like an ale with that heavy kind of like a flavor. I think is what's going on back there too.
Yeah.
So you just have all these flavors kind of in a car crash on your tongue. That's what we have right now. So we're going to drink this as we talk about Santa with muscles. And we'll see how we feel about it at the end of the podcast. Maybe it would be better as it warms up. Who knows?
I mean, who knows? We might be feeling it.
Yeah,
so
that's true. It's also 15%. So I may not give a shit at the end of this.
Yeah.
So.
I'll be like not even halfway done. I'll probably be like, this is the best beer ever.
I got 2 more. So.
Oh, jeez. So, I mean, are there any events that you wanted to talk about, or do you just want to talk about what we originally?
Let's cut to the chase here.
Okay.
So it's Christmas Eve, Christmas Day is tomorrow. Everybody's gonna be closed tomorrow. Most everybody's gonna be closed tomorrow. I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna be closed tomorrow. So next event coming up in this holiday period here is the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I'm not going to go through everybody who has it because everybody has a New Year's Eve, New Year's Day event, either one or the other or both.
Yeah.
So go check out beeringBigD.com. He's got it all on there for the New Year's events. He's got a list of everybody who's got the events there. But honestly, check with your local brewery, local tap house. They more than likely have an event going on in the next week, and check it out. As we get into the new year, we'll go over the events that we got coming up on the horizon. We know in April we got Big Texas Brew Fest is already on the calendar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if you're listening to this today, I do think today that Celestial does have their Festivus for the rest of us.
Yesterday.
Today.
It was yesterday.
So was it yesterday?
Yeah.
All right. This is from the past. It was yesterday.
That's right.
That's right. Festivus is on the 23rd.
Yeah.
I apologize. You missed it. I missed it too. So
sucks to suck, everybody.
So yeah, I hope you all aired your grievances and everything.
Right.
And showed. But yeah, New Year's coming up. Everybody's got stuff going on. So you got a week. Check it out.
Yeah. So we mainly wanted to change this segment. Usually, we do talk about all types of events and the movies that are coming out or have come out and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to talk about 2023. We're going to talk about
RIP 2023.
That's right. The podcast of our favorite moments or episodes and favorite movies and just kind of moments of 2023. And we won't go too deep into it, but yeah, I figured that'd be a good little segment. So we've watched some really bad movies this year, and we've watched some surprisingly really good movies.
Yeah.
I feel like a few years ago we went through a rut where I remember after one of our recordings I said, Anthony, we gotta watch something good.
Yeah.
It's been too much bad.
AKA Anthony, you're not allowed to pick movies for a while.
Yeah, I feel like we've gotten better about splitting it more like half and half. But I mean, listen, I know I've definitely the way I pick my movies for the podcast is usually the art in front of it, and that's gotten me in trouble. So
hey, that worked pretty well when I was a kid at Blockbuster. Right? You look at the
Right.
cardboard. That's how I didn't get to watch Robot Jocks when I was a kid, but we did get to watch it. I think a year or two ago on the podcast. So
yeah, it's not always been a terrible way for me to pick our movies, but I've definitely gotten better because I've learned that it's not the best way. So I'm actually just pulling up the list of stuff that we watched this year, because sometimes it starts to blend. But
It does.
you know, I think about the movie Rubber. I think that's one of the first ones I think of, just because I watched it before our podcast, even before we even had a podcast. I watched it, and whenever you're like, "Oh, I finally watched it," and I was like, "Oh yeah, we should do that as an episode." I forgot how much I like that movie.
Yeah, it is an odd one, but it's like pretentious. I remember talking about it because it's a movie that's pretentious for the sake of being pretentious and about commenting on how movies can be pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a movie that if they were to do it with a big budget, it could get an Oscar. But like people voting on it for the Oscars wouldn't know that it's making fun of them.
Ooh, and also looking back at Cage Fest. Remember Jiu-Jitsu?
I try not to remember Jiu-Jitsu.
I remember watching it, and I know I talked about it many times of just like, I was more than halfway through or something. I'm like, do we only get to see Nicolas Cage once in this movie? Like, what the heck is this? Vanity Bureau, which that one, I remember I was surprised and enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.
Of course, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is such
it's gonna be up there with Pig, and what was that other good one that we saw the previous year?
Pig was good.
Yeah.
What was that? Pig, Wicker Man. Oh, I guess we just did 2 last year.
Did we just do Pig and Wicker Man?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, okay. Well, Pig was really good. So
Pig was awesome.
Yeah.
This was last year, but Anna and the Apocalypse. That was 20.
Yeah, it was our last one of 20.
Yeah.
20. Well, 2.
Yeah. What year are we at?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our last one of the last year.
Yeah.
And I remember really, really liking that. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know, because it's like a post-apocalyptic musical.
Yeah.
And so immediately I'm like, I'm not gonna like this.
Yeah, that for me was an airplane movie. I think I talked about that when we reviewed that. That was an airplane movie for me. There's some movies that are like, movies just hit different on an airplane, and that to me is a good airplane movie. You're trapped on the airplane, you can't watch anything else. That was a good airplane movie. When I watched that when it came out. So Ryan, what was your movie of the year for the year of 2023?
That we did, or just in general?
That we did. Of the movies we watched, what is your movie of the year? I have mine chosen, so.
To me, it's difficult because we did watch Stargate.
You got to pick one. We did do those 2 movies that we were like, remember when we were kids.
Yeah, these are like the movies that we remember. So it's almost.
Mine's not one of those. So
for me, it's impossible to not.
So
pick
aside
Stargate.
from not Stargate. So assuming that you're going to pick Stargate, number 1. What's your number 2? What's the second runner or first runner up for best movie of the year?
It's definitely An Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah.
It's a good choice there.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good movie. I mean, Nick Cage, Pedro Pascal, Tiffany Haddish, Ike Barinholtz, all great actors.
I mean, and it's Nicolas Cage playing himself.
Yeah,
so it's
like a crazy version of himself.
Yeah. So what was yours?
So my movie of the year was The Punished. This is a movie that you picked, if I remember correctly. I love it because it just ended up to be a Chamber of Commerce commercial for the city of Redding, California.
That was the best.
And we watched that. I think it was like just a few weeks before I embarked on a West Coast tour, driving from Seattle down to Los Angeles. Now, I didn't get to go to Redding, but I knew what would await me if I chose to go to Redding. So I was tempted to embark the 3 or 4 hours inland when I was in Northern California to go visit the city of Redding to see if it is everything that the movie The Punished promised.
Yeah.
But alas, we did not. Maybe one day I'll go visit Mount Shasta, the aquarium, and the water park all in Redding. And be like, well, it's like, yeah, I saw this in the movie The Punished. It's like, and see the signs here. The Punished was filmed here. Yeah, and this event happened here. This guy was beat up and shanked in the garage of the aquarium. all that stuff there. So I look forward to it. Maybe they'll have a paintball course in the oil refinery scene.
And they
in Reading.
have to.
So, yeah, they have to. Yeah, it's like as you enter the city, it's got to be Reading. Also seen in The Punished, viewable on Tubi. So,
Yeah,
but that to me was like the because it's like it was like unabashedly. It's like you have like plot, and then commercial for the city of Reading.
Yeah,
like, plot point was this much, commercial for the city of Reading, and I loved that. It was just
it was so it. I kind of
the city.
Yeah, that would probably have to be, well, since I picked Stargate as my first, but that would be my third then, because it was so funny, and I just remember just so quickly into it they start the commercial for it,
Yeah,
and it's just like I just started laughing so hard because it was like, I think I'm watching Chamber of Commerce, like like this is an advertisement to come here, like I remember it just threw me off, and I was like, well, once it started back of the plot, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, it makes me think of the way that movie was paced. It makes me think of when you play like Starfield or Fallout on a Bethesda game, and you have like the main plot, you have the main quests right, that you're on, but in between you're just doing little fetch quests for everybody, and you're just kind of like interacting with everybody in their normal daily lives. So like, but this guy's like, I'm gonna take this little girl from the hospital to go in a boat. I'm gonna take her to go to the. I'm gonna take her to the aquarium. Oh, now I got to go kill some guys out in the forest somewhere out of town. So I'm gonna go do my mission now. Then I'm back. I'm gonna do some more fetch quests and hang out with these people and hang out with the nurse and have some sort of ill-defined love triangle thing with the nurse who's just there for the kid and with the girl that I randomly hired from the museum.
Yeah,
and it was just. And I don't remember if I said I would watch that movie again, but I'm kind of I may watch it again. Just fast forward to the action bits and just watch the Reddit or the Reading portions there.
The Reddit.
Yeah, the Reddit. I should look on Reddit to see if anybody.
Oh, I bet there is.
But that would be my movie of the year for Let's Do Podcast Movie of the Year. That's my nominee.
Yeah.
For Let's Do Podcast Movie of the Year is The Punished.
Now that was, I think what just made it even better, like just the surprise of it too. I think that was so great, and the fake Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Like, the guy's Austrian. Didn't he wasn't there like some close relationship or tangential relationship between the main actor for that movie and Arnold Schwarzenegger? Was it just that they were both from Austria?
I think they're both just from Austria.
Yeah, okay.
Look,
I can't remember.
Yeah, and they are very muscular. Like, it was really funny. The whole thing. I think that's what made it so great. It was just a very big surprise of commercial and everything else that made it enjoyable.
This guy did make Arnold Schwarzenegger look like an Oscar winner. So
I'm definitely looking forward to see what we have for 24. I know Cage Fest is going to be
coming soon to a podcast near you.
Yeah, we'll see what the rest of the year holds. So I would say what's your favorite beer of the year, but that's a difficult one.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many beers.
And I didn't prep enough to say that. So
I gotta say, I think I finished the Rainbow series this year.
Oh yes,
so
yeah, you did.
I do think it would be one of those. I think it was the blue. I think it was the blue this year, and I enjoyed the blue in the series. Well, purple wasn't my favorite. Green, blue, and violet came out this year, and I do think I liked the blue the best. So yeah, I saw what was my favorite. They started. Nice. Also, I saw they started reissuing the red in their new can format. So they start. If you missed out on red when it was issued back in 2022, it's in stores now. So go check out Community. The red for Hop Unity is coming out again. I think you're just gonna do the seasonal thing. So.
Keep talking for a second. I'm gonna look up what beers I had.
Okay.
Because I bet I
was terrible at logging them this year. But
yeah, I logged all of mine. One thing I stopped doing is giving ratings because I've seen a lot of stuff about how like ratings can kind of push people in the wrong
push people or
direction.
dissuade them. Yeah.
And it's just like, I want everybody to try a beer.
Yeah.
You know, I might have hated it, but who knows? Maybe you would have loved it.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff.
I do. If I see that you've rated a beer, I do look at your rating there. And there's been a few that I've seen that you've tried but you've not rated. That I'm like, thanks, Ryan. You didn't tell me if you liked it or not. So
yeah, always text me, be like, "What did you think?" And be like, "Oh, okay, I can tell you." Oh yes.
There's one of those ones from your pack there that there was a couple of them that you had pretty high marks for.
There are some really good ones.
Yeah,
that's gonna be difficult.
Those well, you had ones from all over the country in that pack that you got.
Truly.
Yeah.
Do you think that this one, Enchantment's Hazy IPA series from...
Is it Icicle?
Yeah, Icicle Brewing in... Oh, doesn't say where it... Washington. Oh,
yeah. There you go.
Right up the street from me.
Just up the road.
Jeez. Yeah. I do remember this one because I think I opened it during like snowy outside during our podcast. I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." I just remember thinking, "God, the beer is so good." This is one I think I drank it super fast on the podcast too. But yeah, just looking quickly at it,
Speaking of being fast, it's like I'm
Anthony's destroying me on this. But yeah, I did the was it Trivia, whatever. I did that, and I mean, I got some amazing beers from there, and I still have a few that I need to finish up.
Yeah, I gotta try that because I've seen that service that you've used before, where you just get a bunch of beers from across. Try that. Yeah,
I mean it was expensive, but it's like it's lasted me pretty much this whole year.
Yeah. Well, there is no shortage of great beers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's always good to check out beers from other places in the country, so I can better appreciate what we have in the DFW area. Because for those of you listening to us in the DFW area, we are very fortunate to have the great beer community we have here. The beer I've tried in other parts of the country, not as good as here. About to go on a trip to Vegas. Actually, I'm going to try out a few breweries there. Everybody says, "Oh, they're so good." It's like, I bet you they're not as good as what we got here.
Yeah, I've missed the beer here. Like the DFW knows how to make a good hazy. That's for sure. I've had some
New England IPAs. Who would figure that Texas would be great at New England IPAs? Yeah.
I mean, I live West Coast, so they make amazing West Coast IPAs. Yeah. So good. But I've just been like dying for a good hazy. And we went out the other day to Odd Muse, of course. Mm-hmm. And they had their Black is Beautiful version too. That's a hazy. And, I fell in love. I was like, this just like scratched that itch that I've been dying for. So of course I had to buy the pack. So, I mean, there's still good beer everywhere. That's for sure. But living somewhere else has made me realize how great the beer is here.
Yeah. At the very least, the specialization in the hazy IPAs.
Yeah.
If you love hazy IPAs, I feel like this is the mecca here.
Yeah,
I need to go to like Boston and see if they make New England hazy IPAs as they make them here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how theirs are.
Clown Shoes I hear is pretty good, so
it is.
Try the Clown Shoes beer. So
yeah, they have some around here. Yeah, they distribute.
I see them in the stores, but I'd like to go try it from the brewery. If I get to Boston, get to go to Boston and then near Boston. 15% is hitting pretty hard. If I get to go to Boston in the near future, I'll probably head up to Clown Shoes.
All right. I guess we can talk about the movie because I know we'll talk about a lot of things. So, Santa with Muscles, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I never got to see this movie as a kid. I watched, I think Hulk Hogan had a spate of movies, late 90s, when he was I would say he wasn't even at peak popularity. He was probably towards his waning popularity with the WWF because he was starting to get older. And it was like right about this movie came out right after he had his heel turn as Hollywood Hogan. He was no longer Hulk Hogan. He was Hollywood Hogan. I think it was like when he went over to the WCW. I think this is when this came out. But I was a big Hulkamaniac back in the early 90s. And so I remember watching, was it Mr. Nanny
Yeah.
and Suburban Commando, two of my favorite movies.
I didn't see.
when
I
was a
haven't
little
seen
kid.
that one.
Yeah, Suburban Commando was a good one. My 12-year-old brain 12 or 13-year-old brain tells me that was a good movie. But
I
this
may have
movie-
to watch it now and see.
yeah. But this movie came out in 1996, and this was another one of those Hulk Hogan movies. Gotta say, it was a Hulk Hogan movie.
It sure was.
Yeah, it's interesting because this movie had a lot of like decently known actors today, and a few people had their at least one person I know of had their first role, who's pretty popular now in this movie. Mila Kunis' first role was in Santa with Muscles.
Synopsis for this is ridiculously short too.
Yeah, and inaccurate.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense actually. Now that I look at it, I thought you pulled it up somewhere.
Pulled it up somewhere.
Oh, there it is.
Window management here. That's not what I wanted, but
15% is really kicking in.
Windows is amazing. But yeah, let me read the very short. Gotta be a longer one here,
Right? Yeah, that's why I was just like, this doesn't make sense. I love too that it's a 2.3.
Yeah, out of 10.
It's so low. I don't even think I would give it that low. 2.6. Okay.
So I've heard a couple different versions of the of synopsis for this movie. This, I guess, is more accurate than the one I saw previously. For this one, on IMDb, it says a heartless millionaire believes he is Santa Claus after an accident renders him amnesia. There was another one where I read it was like he was an evil billionaire. So I feel like it was conflating him and Ed Begley Jr.'s character a little bit because he wasn't like a bad guy by any means. He was just an asshole. Yeah. Which he wasn't even that much of an asshole. He was just an asshole who liked to play paintball and run from the cops. And like harass basically the local police because he knew he would get away with it because he's rich.
And the confusing part too is like the cops are only around whenever he's messing around.
Yeah, but never like the bad guy.
Yeah, when the bad guys are destroying shit.
He's gonna have children mine for like gems.
Yeah, it's just like I remember saying, "Wait, where are the cops now?" Like they're mad that he's speeding down the street.
But they're not mad.
But they're not
the evil scientist
is like
or
tearing
or whatever. It's like tearing statues out of church yards
and like breaking in and like terrorizing people. Just like
it's literally terrorism is what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is like okay. So I guess I know where the line is.
Yeah,
I mean, it was strange, but.
But it's like I really don't know about the characterization of what's his name, Blake. Blake Thorne is the character that Hulk Hogan plays, Terry, if you will. I forget what his last name is, but Terry is Hulk Hogan's real name, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hulk Hogan. He plays Blake, who I would argue he's not a bad guy.
No.
He's just inconsiderate.
Yeah.
His employees seem to love him.
Well, I don't know. I feel like that's very debatable. It's like they love him, but they also are very annoyed by him.
Well, they're annoyed because he has all these rules. So he's obviously very full of himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so... Yeah, he's not an asshole. Or, he is an asshole, not a bad guy. But then he becomes Santa. That's an asshole Santa that's helping.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's strange. And things like, how did he know the combination of the safe? I feel like that wasn't really explained.
It wasn't explained. I think they just hand waved it by the fact that he was also a orphan.
Yeah, that he's from there.
This orphanage.
But then, like, still, just because he's an orphan from there, just like still doesn't explain how he knows the combination.
Or how Ed Begley Jr. doesn't. If Ed Begley
Yeah.
Jr. and him were both orphans at this orphanage at the same time, wouldn't Ed Begley Jr., Mr. Frost,
Mr. Frost.
wouldn't Mr. Frost know the combination for that safe too?
And
Or did Blake just not share it because he was that much of an asshole?
and then the other guy who works at the orphanage that told him, "Hey, you were an orphan here."
Yeah, Clayton. It's like Clayton's like,
Yeah, he doesn't know.
he's been here for that long.
He's been there forever.
yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, it's one of those movies that if you look at it too long, it just kind of falls apart.
yeah.
But that's why we watched it.
But you know what? It was funny. It was lighthearted, silly. I mean,
the plot was so overly complicated, I will say.
Yeah.
So I do want to say so long story short, Blake makes like these health supplements, health like bodybuilder. Supposedly these are actually good quality products. So he's not evil in that regard because he actually makes stuff that actually works. If he was like actually a bad guy, he'd like be like a Scrooge type character who makes like shoddy products.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he has a turn of heart, and then starts making good products. But no, he already makes good products. He makes like health food and weight gain powder, weight loss powder.
Yeah.
Stuff supposedly all works. He makes cereal for the kitties. The kitties love the cereal. It's very healthy for them. 3 calories per serving in his salad dressings, which he says as easy. And also, if you're running away from the cops, we'll make the cops. It works as an oil slick.
Yeah, which is a little concerning, but
yeah, that's a little too strong there. I think they'll just like you use that salad dressing and anything
goes
else
right through you.
It's gonna go right through you there. But he loses his memory. Bob Pinciotti, or I forget what's the actual character's name, Larry.
So, I think it's Larry.
But Bob Pinciotti from That 70s Show. He tells him he's Santa Claus after he has amnesia because
Lenny.
Okay,
You were close.
yeah, he wants to steal his wallet and because he has debts to Mr. Frost.
Oh, that's right.
This is what really gets the whole thing going. But Santa Claus, Terry Blake. I'm just throwing out names here.
That 15% is really getting to him.
I know, but he ends up being drawn to this orphanage because the orphanage was asking to host a benefit in his house, which he was like, I'm not going to let him in my house, which he never does. I want to point that out. He never lets them into his house.
Oh yeah, that's
He
true.
never does. Even though he had his turn of heart and became a nice guy, he never let the orphans into his house.
I thought that was so funny. It was just like, he's like, I know somewhere you can go.
Yeah, and it's like, of course, in your house. No,
No,
bad guy's
the
house.
bad guy's house.
Yeah, but
that really sticks it to the bad guy too.
Yeah. Fuck those kids. They can't get in my house. They can go to the bad guy's house.
His house is too nice.
Yeah, but he ends up defending the orphanage with 3 orphans that are the leftover orphans, which they are aware that they're the leftover orphans.
Yes.
They get there. He defends them from a evil doctor, evil geologist, evil chemist, and evil electrician.
Yes.
With electro gloves. They're basically Batman villains.
Yeah.
But like maybe like D or F tier, like Batman.
They're Batman villains that you can order off Wish.
Yeah, they're like below Condiment King in like Batman tier. But
5 below type. Yeah.
Well, like one is like stink like Methane Man. He's like stink bombs. Like what? But they defend multiple attacks against this. He eventually realizes he's not Santa Claus. He realizes he's the bodybuilder man. But they go in, they get there. He brings his chef and his butler and his chauffeur to beat the people at the orphanage. They find somewhere in there a cave with gems that are piezoelectric gems that you hit them too hard, they explode. And of course, Ed Begley Jr., he goes down there, he finally gets in the place that explodes. And they all go to live at Ed Begley Jr.'s house because he's in jail.
Yeah.
Long story short.
And fuck those kids. They can't live at my house.
No, but they can live at Ed Begley Jr.'s house,
Yes.
Mr. Frost's house.
Which is still nice.
Yeah, which is still not. We only see the
Which
one room.
is right across the street from the jail, too, apparently.
Oh, well, that's right. They could see it. The telescope,
They would
so
check on the bad guys every once in a while, apparently.
that must be where how Ed Begley Jr. became aware of all these other people.
Yeah.
That they basically got him on a work release program. So
It was, I mean, I laughed because it was so stupid. Like it was silly. Like once I kind of realized what type of movie we were watching, I'm like, cool, now I can enjoy it in that aspect.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Also, Clint Howard, brother of Ron Howard and uncle of Bryce Dallas Howard, played a cop in here who was had an RPG fired at him and had his car exploded.
yeah, the RPG thing too.
Yeah.
Oh my god. For speeding. Like I really don't like speeding in this town.
Yeah.
So Anthony, what would you say is something that you disliked about this movie?
I disliked about this movie. I honestly feel like this plot was. I feel like they could have simplified the plot so much.
Yeah.
It was. They could have, if they wanted to have a real heel turn where he from good to bad. Heel turn is usually from bad to good, but if you wanted to have a heel turn the other way from bad to good for them, you need to make him probably maybe the main antagonist initially, where he was the guy, because I thought initially he was going to be the guy that was trying to take out the orphanage.
Yeah.
Him to be like the Mr. Frost in the scenario here, but he gets amnesia and he ends up defending it against his lackeys who take over his empire when he gets amnesia. I feel like Ed Begley Jr., love him, he's a great actor, great in a lot of stuff I've seen, not in this, but you could have gotten rid of him. You could have had all the other lackeys though, kind of like giving his orders before he has amnesia, and kind of simplified things to where you don't have like this other third party involved. It's just two parties. You have Hulk Hogan, evil bad guy who becomes a good guy when he gets bonked in the head during his paintball tourney, and then he defends the and that would all add really a lot of conflict for the lackeys too, because then once they realize who they're fighting against,
Mm-hmm.
then they're like, does the boss want us to like help the kiddos, or are we still like trying to take it over? Is this part of his plan? What's going on here?
Yeah.
I think that would have made it more interesting, really. So I feel like Ed Begley Jr. really didn't need to be in this movie. Hulk Hogan could have been the bad guy who turned good guy, and I think that would have made it really interesting. I think the addition of like a third party here with all the other henchmen made things more complicated. Yeah, this movie is a kids movie.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't need to be that it doesn't need to be that complicated. Yeah, that's my main complaint about this movie. Too much going on.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Although I do like the hijinks with the cartoony supervillain henchman. That's pretty silly, pretty funny.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I didn't like is just that many characters, just tear it down and it would have been that much better.
Wayne, my dad, comments saying, I think this should be a Christmas tradition. Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's definitely gonna be one that I want to watch every holiday because it's just ridiculous. I would say my biggest dislike. I don't. So after the first fight scene, after he becomes Santa in the mall,
Oh, fights those two hooligans.
and then
Yeah, the hooligans could have been tied into it too. They could have been like the henchmen or something.
yeah, I kind of thought that. I don't know. Just after that, whenever all the kids and the grown-ups are like worshiping him in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
a little too excessively. I even just remember when we were sitting there, I was watching, I was like, I don't know. It's like weird the way that they're worshiping this guy now.
He's Santa Claus. Like he's literally at the beginning of the movie. I think before he realizes that he's not, he's literally Santa Claus to these.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like it felt almost too worshipy of a man that just beat up a bunch of people. And then like I don't know, like in my mind I'm thinking this guy just beat the shit out of some teenagers and everybody's happy about it. I don't think so. That's not how it would actually go.
Well, not in the year 2023, but what about in the year 1996?
I don't know. I was alive, but was too young. I don't know. Again, it's a little thing just because, well, one, you mainly said what I was thinking too. So I had to kind of pick something. But I just remember that was the only scene to me where I was just like, I don't know. It felt strange. I didn't like that necessarily. But again, it was such a little thing. I think what Anthony pointed out was kind of the main issue was there was like too much plot in a movie that didn't really need it.
Yeah. This is a live action cartoon. They could have animated this, and it would have it would have simplified things quite a bit.
Can we get a cartoon remake of this? That'd be great.
Honestly, this would be like a ready made. They could do like a Phineas and Ferb. The bad guy would be Doofenshmirtz. Yeah.
Okay, so what was thing you liked?
Right, I'm gonna have to go first since I stole yours.
That's fine.
Yeah.
What did I like? It's also hard because it's not that I disliked, and there's not anything that I really liked about this movie. It was a very neutral movie. I did like how confusing the beginning was, because I never, for the life of me, would have guessed we went the direction that we went. It starts off with him.
This movie is surprising, yeah.
It starts off with Hulk Hogan sneaking around a mansion and watching people. It looks like he's about to break into this house, and then starts fighting all these staff members, and just to find out, like, I guess he has his staff just try to beat him up.
Well, I was watching that. I was like, does he just like go and randomly beat? Because like, because if you read anything about this movie, he's like an evil millionaire, which he's not really an evil millionaire. But he's like a millionaire, so you're like, okay, this is his place.
Yeah.
He's like, did he just randomly go beat up his freaking servants? It's like, well, no. You find out, no, they're all part of a thing he has them do. So they're expecting it.
Yeah, they want this.
Yeah.
Oof. I don't like the way I phrased that. Yikes. So this was like all part of the plan. It's like they signed up.
It's part of their Christmas bonus.
Their contract. So I liked that. Of just like, you think it's gonna go one direction, and it doesn't. It just flips it all upside down and just is like, no. He runs from the cops, hits his head, becomes Santa.
Not an exemplar. Not a great exemplary of good character.
Yeah. This is like, he's an asshole that turns into an asshole Santa.
Yeah.
And saves his money, I guess, because he doesn't really get it stolen. And he helps kids.
Lenny keeps Lenny from stealing his stuff because he makes Lenny feel bad. He takes care of the kids. So Lenny feels bad about stealing the money from him, even though Lenny's the one who drove him to actually take care of the kids. So
big picture, this movie gets amnesia. He becomes Santa. He helps kids move into a bad person's house right next to a jail, which is that really helping? Because that puts them in a lot of bad situations.
Well, you have to imagine that, like, he went through the whole process of purchasing this house from like the auction.
Yeah.
And so he probably got it for like pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. So he's saving a shit ton of money there.
Yeah.
Plus, he's just like,
and it's a tax write-off, probably.
Yeah, and it's again right next to a jail, and we all know by history that living right next to a jail isn't the nicest area to live.
Yeah.
So it's probably gonna get robbed. And it's just like, so it all comes down to Santa's an asshole. Before he was Santa, he's still an asshole, but he's a nicer asshole.
So he gave Clayton all this extra work now, because now Clayton, in addition to just mowing the lawn of the church, he's going to maintain all these topiaries.
Yeah. You can't let those bushes that were shaped like dogs go to waste.
Yeah, you got to maintain these things. Yeah. Now you got to figure out the art of topiaries and managing all these animal shaped bushes that were just previously covered by bags.
Yeah,
which was weird.
Thanks a lot, Santa.
Yeah. Jeez.
Fucking Santa. All right, well, what's yours, Anthony?
So the thing I liked about this movie is it didn't lean too hard. I'm going back to Hulk Hogan again. it didn't lean too hard. I mean, like, so the whole movie leans on the fact that Hulk Hogan's the star. I mean, because I mean that's what these movies lean on. They lean on the fact that, hey, Hulk Hogan's in the movie, go watch it. It's like, you like WWF, go watch this movie. It's kind of like any movie that initially had like John Cena or The Rock in it when they were just coming out of WWF or
Yeah.
WEW or whatever they called it, WWE. That's what it was. When they had their first couple of movies, they were like WWE movies. It's like, go see this movie. It's The Marine. It's got John Cena in it. It's like, hey, you like John Cena? Go watch this movie. This was kind of like that before WWF or before what's his name, Jim McMahon. Before he had, I wouldn't say Egg McMahon. Before he decided to have an entertainment arm of the wrestling federation. So you basically are leaning on the fact that it's Hulk Hogan to get butts and seats. But other than that, in the course of the movie, like, you're not leaning on any wrestling antics in the movie to keep people in the seats, right? Other than the fact that it's just like Terry the Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that they didn't, like, maybe it's to the detriment of the movie that it's not like Hulk Hogan as this guy who is thinking he is Santa Claus. But I thought it was a pretty bold move that they were like, hey, Hulk Hogan, and he's like, I'm Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a cool move on their part that they didn't just totally like make him be basically Hulk Hogan, but he's a bodybuilder who sells supplements and is evil, but thinks he's good because he's Santa Claus. So that was the thing I liked about this movie, is they didn't basically were like, they weren't like Hulk Hogan, but he's Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So he's an entirely different character who thinks he's Santa Claus.
All right. Well, I know I mention it every time, but we are on Letterboxd, which is that's beer. A app to rate movies and like them and share them with your friends. So jump on to Letterboxd and follow us at Let's Do a Podcast. So Anthony, between 1 and 5, how would you rate Santa with Muscles? It is difficult.
I gotta give it a 2. I saw you mark it just after I said that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I said that or you were already thinking it.
No, I was already thinking it. I wanted, I didn't want to push the button until anything was said. I didn't want to persuade you to vote my way, but I completely agree. I think it's a solid 2, nothing more.
No, I agree. It's like it's something that is in Christmas tradition territory. But I watch a lot of terrible movies for Christmas. I watch like when on Thanksgiving every year I watch Mystery Science Theater 3000 movies. None of those are good movies. But it's just part of the experience of the holiday. So very much this one here is maybe something that you just watch with your family. But I feel like maybe this is something that could use a remake, and it could be done with like a John Cena or with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
A newer version,
and it could be done well. So
well-ish.
Well-ish. Maybe simplify the script.
Give it a 2.5 at that point.
Yeah. This movie could be. This movie was about 90 minutes or so. This movie could be broken down to like 60.
Yeah.
It could be a TV special length, maybe even 40 minutes. Honestly.
Yeah, we could probably get under an hour.
Yeah. I feel like you get a John Cena, Rock Johnson. Hell, get any other wrestler in there, and you could probably make this thing. It's you cut the fat. It's a pretty svelte plot. It's pretty or hell, like I mentioned, you could do a version of this with cartoon characters, and it would be just like I don't think they air Phineas and Ferb anymore, new episodes of that, but you could basically make it a Disney special, put it on Disney Plus. Hell, do this with like Marvel characters. Captain America loses his memory, he becomes Santa Claus. I don't know, or Iron Man. I don't know. They make it an episode of What If. They're airing those episodes of What If right now. Maybe Happy Hogan Saves Christmas ends up being like this.
There you go.
I don't know. So, but I feel like this is begging to get remade. So, hey, if anybody from Hollywood watches this, why are you watching us? And 2, this movie, just remake it, because I feel like there's something there.
Yeah, I agree though. If there was a remake, I would definitely watch it.
Yeah.
I think change the little things that are little issues, and it would be a good Christmas movie.
Yeah, be solid.
So, and I mean, either way, I do see this being one that I would probably watch. Add it to my list of movies for the holiday.
Yeah.
Talking about Mystery Science Theater, though, we actually watched one not too long ago, a few weeks or maybe last week, called Avalanche. Have you seen that one?
I have. That's one of my favorites in the Netflix era.
It is pretty funny.
Yeah.
So, go on Netflix, look up Mystery Science Theater 3000 and Avalanche. I think it's one of the best ones on there. So, so yes, I give it a 2. Same reasons. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. So Anthony, I see that you're done with the beer. I'm gonna still be sipping mine for a while. What do you think? How would you rate this beer?
I don't remember drinking this beer.
Great. It's gonna be a great night after this.
Same comments I had before though. It's immensely sweet.
So sweet.
So if you don't like beers that got like that sweet flavor to them, it's maybe not going to be for you. I'm more if you've watched any episodes of this podcast, you know I'm more about the bitterness in a beer. This hits your tongue and it's very sweet, almost like bubblegum flavor ish. But it's vanilla, caramelly, and with the lactose in there, it just gives it that extra like a bit of sugar into it. The best part about it is the 15% ABV, because after you drink it, you don't remember you drank it. So.
Oh, I'm not done yet, but I'm feeling it. That's for sure. It's so. I mean, I still have a while to go on this. I don't know if I'll finish it before the podcast is over. It's too sweet for me.
Yeah,
I enjoy sweet beers. I mean, I've had like stouts that are like pretty much maple syrup, and this is way sweeter. It's crazy how sweet this is. So I mean, it hits exactly what it says it is, and that's probably one of the reasons I'll give it a 3.5, because it hits all the flavors, but what really brings it down is the sweetness.
It's overly sweet. I'll say 3.5 as well. I was about to say 3.75, but that sweetness is just a little too much, and so 3.5 as well for me. It's good for what it is. It says what it is, but I didn't believe it, and it's Martin House. I should believe it when they say what they say.
Yeah,
when they say what something is, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. There you go. There's that beer. I blanked. That's cool.
It's the Kegnog
Thing of the week.
Ryan, for things of the week, what is your favorite Christmas song?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I would say, let me look up exactly the name of it, because I get it wrong. But I'm pretty sure you can figure out who the artist is.
Artist is before you tell me what the song is.
Yeah.
It's Johnny Mathis.
No.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Does he have a Christmas album?
I don't know. Will Ferrell.
I talked about
Fun.
I talked about this artist the last time that we were together on your birthday.
Oh man, you think I'm gonna remember something 2 weeks ago? My brain is now 40 years old. I can't remember anything. This art.
Got this. You got this. I believe in you.
This at all?
Do you give up?
I do give up.
So the song is called "Hey Sis, It's Christmas."
I still don't know who that artist is.
RuPaul.
Oh, duh. Okay.
Only because growing up, listened to Christmas music so much, so I just got really burnt out. On top of working in the service industry, where they play that before Thanksgiving even starts. I'm finally kind of at the time where it's like I'm slowly adding stuff in. But this song, so a lot of people know it from Target commercials last year. Target would play this song every Christmas commercial they had. And so I was just like, at first I was thinking, is that RuPaul? So we looked it up and it was. And so now, and is tomorrow morning once everybody's awake, because me and the wife will be up getting food made and all that stuff. I'm going to put this on RuPaul Christmas album to wake everybody up and get them for the holiday. I know. I feel like it's a cliche answer because, of course, it's RuPaul. Of course, it's RuPaul. Me. So, Anthony, I am interested about this because I know after this we're gonna put on your Christmas list. We have to have it going in the house because you've talked about your Christmas list.
We do need to put it on. Yeah.
So, talk about your Christmas list. This is your thing, your holiday thing of the week.
So, my holiday thing of the week is that I do listen to. So, I have Apple Music. I do listen to a novelty Christmas songs list. It's got your Grandma Got Run Over by Reindeer. It's got your Bill Engvall, Here's Your Sign Christmas edition. It's got your All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth. Wreck Them Alls.
Classic.
The 12 Pains of Christmas. It's got about like 9 versions of 12 Days of Christmas on it.
Great.
Which is everybody's favorite Christmas song, right? But my favorite Christmas song, which it was on this playlist last year, but I think they've taken it off for the new year, which I just manually added on, is I Wish It Was Christmas Today. Now, if you don't remember this song, it was originally played on Saturday Night Live. And it was with Horatio Sands, Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And Tracy Morgan.
Yeah,
and so you got Tracy Morgan doing this thing. You got Jimmy Fallon playing the keyboard, but he's not playing the keyboard. He's just like it's just like the thing that's playing on the keyboard, like whatever the premix is, and he's just changing the keys. You got Chris Kattan holding the board, and you got Horatio Sands actually singing the song. And he's playing that Sharper Image like compact guitar thing. It was like that's my favorite Christmas song. It's like I don't care what the people say, this time is here. That's like my favorite Christmas song. Julian Casablancas, formerly of The Strokes, sings a version of that song that's pretty good. That's the version that's usually on my playlist, and I usually add it on there. But that's my favorite Christmas song. I do like Christmas at Ground Zero and The Night Santa Went Crazy from like Weird Al and all these other weird songs from like Tom Lehrer and all this other stuff. But that's my absolute favorite Christmas song is I Wish It Was Christmas Today. I think it was written by Jimmy Fallon, which pains me because I'm not a huge fan of Jimmy Fallon.
But I will say too, my other favorite Christmas song that's I'd say in the normal category is Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
Yes.
That's the only one. Like I remember in my head at like one of our old houses, my parents one time they put the Christmas tree in the middle of this round rug that we had. And so while the song was playing, of course, me and my sister were children at the time. We would literally run around the Christmas tree.
Nice.
Yeah. And then get dizzy and fall around, classic kid stuff.
Yeah. Shenanigans.
So,
I agree. Also, you can find us on Twitch. Let's Twitch a pod.
Anthony's like, we're getting out of here.
You can find us on YouTube on Let's Do a Podcast 22. Where else can you find us, Ryan?
Facebook.
Use your words this time.
Yeah, Facebook. Let's Do a Podcast. Letterboxd is Let's Do a Podcast. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, it's a good thing we're ending this. You should be able to find us there. I don't know. Maybe
if you drink this, be prepared.
It hits hard.
Yeah.
And it's so sweet. I feel like the warmer it gets, the sweeter it gets.
It does.
It's terrible. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this last year. I mean, so in 2024 we'll be doing this 5 years.
My God.
It's crazy to think that.
Yeah. That's right. We did start before the pandemic.
We did.
And we kept it going, yeah.
And we renewed everything, so we're doing it again for all of 24, and I really don't see us stopping. There's plenty of bad movies and good beer.
Yeah, they keep making them, so we're just gonna keep talking about them.
That's
So.
right.
Yeah.
And as always, y'all, like if you have,
Right. Before we fully go out, are we doing anything in January? Or are we going straight into Cage Fest like we did last year?
yeah, I'm planning on us doing January.
Okay.
There's no moving happening. We're all staying where we are. So yeah,
All right.
we'll be back sometime in January.
We'll have at least one more before we get into Cage Fest.
Yeah, probably be able to do a normal January.
Right.
Yeah. So there's beer or movies that you guys want us to or watch, any order of that, let us know.
Yeah, if you're in a place that has either good beer or bad movies, we'll be there.
Yeah. Again, I can't say enough. Thank you, everybody that has listened, that supports us by listening and downloading and liking and coming into all of our streams. The people that do jump in seem to really enjoy that we stream it. We have people that rewatch it later. So we'll continue that and, always try to improve where we can, and recommendations or anything at all, shoot them our way. And I'm so bad at remember saying this. Please rate us on whatever you listen to. There's a place you can go give a rating and a review. Please leave one. It definitely helps us get out there more.
Yeah, give us a 5, unless it's like a 4 or a 10. Then give us those. So.
Yeah, give us whatever you can give us, and even if it's a bad review, put criticism that we can actually take and maybe work with.
Yeah,
I'll take that too. Or just don't be a dick. So, and if you're gonna be a dick, at least
be true to yourself.
Be a real dick. I'll say that if you're gonna be a dick about something, go all out. I want to be crying by the end of reading it. So
if we learned anything from Hulk Hogan this past episode, is just be you.
Just be you. Yeah. You might be a full dick, but hey, at least you're you.
At least you help orphans.
That's right. So go enjoy family, unless unless you don't like your family, and then fuck them.
Well, just have a Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year, do all those things.
That's right. I was about to get. I need to stop, and I need to.
And we will
something.
see you in the year 2024.
Woo.